I don't like doing things like an old man. Hey, everybody. It's Carl's from Immortals Inc. podcast here. We're going to talk about some old world. Warhammer, the old world.
Old stuff. Oh.
And as always, we got young Mikey with us.
Young. Had to put that.
Doesn't understand the ways of the old people. The
We're
old
use
ways.
Adjectives now.
That should have been done. And that damn Games Workshop dragging me into a game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you wouldn't know. I guess they had a Game Fest for Games Workshop. Had a Game Fest.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm all, he doesn't know. And recently I was thumbing through all their stuff, and they had some pictures of new miniatures to release. And usually, like, I'm a fan of, Age of Sigmar. I like the system. I like selling it. It's a big world. It's a lot, though, because it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on, which is great. Just like Warhammer 40K, there's a whole universe to run around in, which is great. Well, anyway, they had a preview of a painted miniature, the Bretonnian Paladin. And I'm like, what is that? So then I started reading it, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's the classic knight, sword into a goblin head on the side. I believe, if you can, plus that up there for everybody to see. Beautiful miniature. I'm like, well, what is this, for Age of Sigmar? They're like, no, we're bringing back Warhammer, the old world, which is the game that everybody had a fit about when they changed it to Age of Sigmar, because, I don't know, people do. You know, I get it. That is the old game.
They like the old. You said when they switched from the old world to Age of Sigmar, they hated
Age
of Sigmar.
Quick story. When you have Warhammer, the fantasy battles, before it was Age of Sigmar, you couldn't get in as a store owner. I couldn't let somebody come in. They're like, hey, I want to get into this fantasy battle. Okay, here, give me $2,000. Buy an army that you don't even know if you like. Play for a game you're not even sure about, and you might win. It was just a high price point to get into. You couldn't just jump into it. So then they pretty much destroyed the old world and brought in Age of Sigmar. Basically, the rules were free. They had all the armies. They released all the stats for it. And then you could literally buy a box, like a little box, a unit box, 30, 40, 50 bucks, and you could play. That was enough for you to play a game against somebody else. You didn't need the huge amount of armies and the rule books and the background for it all. It was all there for you. Have at it. Now, it's starting to get deeper and more involved and everything like that, but a lot of people miss the old world. I, myself, that's where I started playing fantasy battles. I had the classic undead army with 100 skeletons and the old Nagash miniature, the big purple thing with a giant skull head, and it was fun. And it was a limited area. It was like, imagine Europe, or
Thailand.
Middle Earth. It was like that certain section there. That was the old world. And all the battles and the armies and the people lived there. That was it. You didn't have like universe expanding or different realms and all that. Nope, that was it. You had these the small area, and you just fought, and it was important. If you lost, it was important because you lost your area, or the battles meant something. But it told an old story, and it was smaller, and it was cool, and that's what I liked. That's what I started to play with. That's what I remember, and it was cool. So when I saw that miniature, I'm like, oh, that. And in my head, I was like, oh, that reminds me of old Warhammer. And then bam, Warhammer, the old world. So they're going to suck me in. They're going to suck me into this game. I just got sucked into Warhammer Horus Heresy because I like that era. Now I'm going to get sucked into this. So I just wanted to talk about that. That's coming. And
When is it coming out?
I have no idea.
Okay.
They're just
Nice.
I don't have any. I looked. There's not a lot of information on it. There's like if you go on Warhammer community, there's like the old world, Warhammer, the old world diaries, and they're just talking about it. And if Mikey can slap some pictures up there, I sent them. They had a picture of the Bretonnian Paladin, which is really well done, and they have the Tomb King, which is basically an undead mummy. Really nice miniature too, and that's just the start of it. And they have a little old world. Also, the old world, like I said, was limited. I also sent you one of those maps. I don't know if you want to attach it in there or just pop it up on the screen real quick. But if you do, you'll see how small it is. It's a smaller area with all the different factions in there. And they're just fighting it out. There's no big area and everything like that. And it was only limited. The core factions they plan on bringing back are Empire of Man, Dwarven Mountain Holds, Kingdom of Bretonnia, which is probably what I'm going to get into. Wood Elf Realms, High Elf Realms, Orc and Goblin Tribes, Warriors of Chaos, which are the classic, they see the evil knights. That's them.
causing chaos.
Beastmen, Brayherds, which are like beastmen, and then Tomb Kings of Khemri, which
Mummies.
Yeah, basically.
Mummy kings.
Mummy and deserts and everything like that.
Mummies with authority.
Those appear to be the 9 factions, the core factions they're bringing in, which will allow players, and I think, and I'm not 100% sure in the comments if you want to correct me, I think they're bringing back the square bases. So you would have the regiment. You know how the round bases on the other miniatures, and everybody just kind of is in squads and moving around. They were all lined up like the classic armies where you see them marching across the field, and they're all 4 or 5 deep, and they crash into each other, and you have to flank and everything like that. And a lot of people like that. I like that. It made me feel like, because that's how they fought, in the old days. A line of forces charging you, and I'm not saying they fought like that in the old days. In the old rules, that's what they did. It was just kind of nice.
Warhammer sucks.
And a lot of people didn't much care for. I don't know if people want to go back. Like I already had one customer I was talking to, and he says, I don't want to go back to Slotto bases.
Probably will, though.
Probably will.
Peer pressure.
But I really liked the miniature and the way they looked.
Wait, so going back to those square bases, with those square bases, did it include movements and stuff like that? Did it like have a structured movement?
Yeah, you would move as a
base?
unit.
Okay.
So like the whole unit would move. It wouldn't be like you scattered. You know how how you see guys in their play and they'll have like, as long as they're within 2 inches of each other. No, it was like you had to be a solid unit, and if it broke up, then it was bad. But those are going to be the core factions. They're not having all the armies back because they're going to stay true to that era, from what I understand. So that time frame for the old world will be it. That is what they're going to go with. They're not going to like add new things to it and everything else. I guess they're going to include rules for some of the factions that are out now so that you could play them in the old world, but I guess they don't have a part in it. Like Skaven were like sleeping, and I'm sorry, it's on the ground here for me.
Yes, Skaven were sleeping. Yeah,
they were, right? Do you know that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the time frame for Matt and everything.
Before the horned rat.
Yeah,
I think.
There you go. They weren't so much sleeping; they were hiding. I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
According to Matt, there was this dark guy who came in, was ringing bells, and people were.
I know. I saw
dying.
that, and then I went down that rabbit hole of like, let me see this. Next 17 articles later, I'm like, I know more about Skaven than I ever cared.
What do you think? Do you know anything about pricing? Is it going to be a little bit pricier, or is it going to be like it was before? I mean, obviously
I'm sure
now
it's going to be whatever consistently is.
You have to have a pretty responsible job or career to be a Warhammer player, or you just have to have a very lucky upbringing.
Yeah. No. I'm sure the price will be the price. It is Warhammer. Everybody knows it costs, it's not cheap.
Tuition.
It's a luxury hobby. It's not a necessity. So if that's what you want, but it's also, that's what goes back to the original getting into Age of Sigmar, where it was okay for a $40 box set. I could get into this. I think the starter for Age of Sigmar, the box with 2 armies, is like still $40, which is a much more easy entry point than 2,000, and I'm not even joking around, like to be competitive in the old stuff, but pretty sure, I don't know, I'd like to see what they're going to do. I can't imagine they would require you to get a big army before you could play, so I'm sure it'll be step by step.
And let us know in the comments if we missed anything.
Yeah, like I said, they just have a little diary thing, and I saw it, and I'm like, they're bringing it back because I like it, because I used to like to, with a limited land area, you could actually say, okay, here's all that you could do. It's easier to do a campaign. So like you and 10 guys, okay, I'm going to play, say I play the Knights, you could play, like Chaos or whatever, and you would have your different land areas, and you would divide it up, and then you would have a map, and you say, okay, here's this and that. I'm like, I'm going to go attack you, and then you would have a battle, and then, like then you would have to ally with somebody, say, oh crap, I'm going to get my ass kicked if I don't help, if I don't ally. It's like a campaign with a limited area. That way, I shoot off world to... No.
No, we're not doing that. We're gonna be structural.
That's too much. That's too much work.
Okay.
But I guess they're gonna have the rules. But anyway, back to the other rules. I guess they will have the rules and stats for the creatures and armies that weren't active during that time period, just so you could play them if you wanted to. So, but I just wanted to talk about that a little because I feel that I'm going to get myself dragged into it. Like I'm probably going to do some more videos on the Horus Heresy, the Warhammer 40K or 30,000, because I kind of getting dragged into that universe. I like Titan, Adepticus, Titan, all the
Titanicus or whatever.
Yeah, Adeptus Titanicus, and I seem to be liking. Me personally, I like the smaller games where the universe doesn't expand as much.
Yeah.
Sure, they'll have more models and rules and stuff but the universe doesn't go on.
It's like a focal point in the timeline.
Yeah,
you know?
I can be super casual. Like there's casual, like I game once a week, and then there's super casual, like I game once a month.
And then there's Carlos.
Or me, yeah, I game every 6 months. You know,
Yeah. Every groundhog day.
I like painting things. I like them to look nice. Like I've seen the kit. Just knock myself out with the microphone. I have a whole Titan Imperial Knight unit, like 5 Imperial Knights. What am I gonna do with that?
Yeah, you got a problem.
I do. Anyway, if you like what you heard, you want to make a comment about what you see, I plan on doing some more of these old world things, and just put it in the comments. And then if you like what you see, give us a like or subscribe, hit the button. I'm sure you put that up there.
Of course.
And till next time.
Later, guys.